The snow fell softly at the North Pole. Inside, Santa's workshop buzzed with activity. Elves scurried, loading the sleigh. Reindeer snorted, eager to be off. Santa, jolly as ever, checked his list twice. Everything was ready for Christmas Eve.
Ho, ho, ho! Let's get this show on the road.
Santa pulled on his warm boots. He adjusted his hat. With a twinkle in his eye, he climbed into his sleigh. The reindeer pawed the ground, impatient to fly.
On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer and Vixen.
With a whoosh and a shout, they were off. The sleigh soared through the night sky. Stars twinkled above them. The northern lights danced in the distance. Santa laughed, his heart full of Christmas cheer. He loved delivering presents to all the good children.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to all!
Down below, cities glittered with Christmas lights. Children slept soundly in their beds. They dreamt of sugar plums and presents. Santa smiled. He couldn't wait to see their happy faces in the morning. Deep inside a silent bunker, a radar screen flickered. A lone operator watched, his eyes glued to the green glow. Suddenly, an unidentified object appeared. It was moving fast, too fast for a normal aircraft. The operator frowned, his heart beginning to race. He checked his instruments. The unidentified object was entering Iranian airspace. Protocol was clear, he had to report it. With trembling hands, he picked up the phone.
So we have a situation.
An ear-splitting alarm shattered the quiet of the airbase. Red lights flashed, bathing the tarmac in an eerie glow. Pilots, jolted awake, scrambled out of their bunks. Adrenaline surged through their veins as they raced towards their waiting jets.
Unidentified aircraft entering our airspace. Scramble 2 F-22S. Intercept and identify. We need visual confirmation.
The pilots, their faces grim, sprinted up the ladders and strapped themselves into their cockpits. 2 F-22 Raptors roared into the night sky. Their afterburners blazed, leaving trails of fire against the darkness. Inside their cockpits, the pilots scanned their instruments. The target was fast, maneuvering erratically. It was unlike anything they had encountered before.
Unidentified aircraft, identify yourself immediately or we will be forced to take action.
There was no response, only the sound of their own engines and the rushing wind.
Ho, ho, ho! What a beautiful night for delivering presents! Humming a Christmas carol.
Santa, oblivious to the danger approaching, chuckled as he navigated through the starry sky. He hummed a Christmas carol, his eyes twinkling with joy. He had no idea that his sleigh, laden with presents, had been misidentified as a threat. Below him, the 2 F-22S closed in. The lead pilot, his heart pounding, strained to make out the target. It was large with a strange glowing nose. It was unlike any aircraft he had ever seen.
Unknown aircraft, respond immediately or we will fire.
Silence. The only sound was the howling wind and the roar of jet engines. The lead pilot, his finger hovering over the trigger, felt a knot of dread in his stomach. He had his orders. He had to eliminate the threat. With a deafening roar, the F-22S opened fire. Missiles streaked through the air, finding their mark. Santa's sleigh, riddled with bullets and engulfed in flames, spiraled towards the earth. Presents scattered like confetti across the night sky. Santa, his eyes wide with disbelief and fear, cried out as the world spun around him. The world watched in horror as news of the tragedy spread. Christmas cheer turned to mourning. The wreckage of Santa's sleigh, a mangled heap of metal and reindeer, lay in the snow, a stark reminder of the terrible mistake. A solemn funeral was held at the North Pole. Elves wept openly, their faces stained with tears. Reindeer bowed their heads, mourning their fallen leader. The world grieved for the jolly old elf who had brought them so much joy. At the funeral, a hush fell over the crowd as a lone figure stepped forward. It was the oldest and wisest elf. His face etched with sorrow. He cleared his throat and began to speak.
We gather here today to mourn the loss of Santa Claus. The world has lost a beacon of joy, a symbol of hope. But let us not forget what Santa stood for: kindness, generosity, and the spirit of giving. Though he is gone, his legacy lives on in our hearts. It is up to us now to keep his memory alive by spreading joy and goodwill to all.